the love between Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. At one point, the story seemed like a fairy tale. However, beyond the headlines and red carpets, there was turbulence in their relationship, conflicts, and a highly visible division. At the heart of everything were their youngsters who grew up, particularly Shiloh, in the limelight without requesting it. Shiloh, who was only 19, went ahead and said something nobody. Her actions didn't simply amaze enthusiasts. The world was astonished. They also give a lot of information about where today she stands beside her father. Come along with us as the story of Brad and Angelina is traced back, beginning to observe how it influenced Shiloh, her relationships with her dad, and what their connection now looks like. The Brangelona's commencement. Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie in 2003 met while filming Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Two married couples were the subject of the movie, Killers, but in the background there was more going on. Brad was still wed to Jennifer at the time. Aniston and Angelina had just split from Thornton. Billy Bob Jolie reflected in a 2007 Vogue article, interview, "I had little knowledge about Brad's precise location in his personal life, but he was obviously with his closest buddy, a person he adores, and respects. Their bond deepened but later on, things really changed. By January 2005, Jennifer and Brad declared their split. In there they clarified in a joint statement, this choice is the outcome of numerous careful evaluation. It's not the outcome of any conjecture. The tabloid media reported on it. October marked the official end of the marriage. In the same year, at about the same time, Angelina went to Ethiopia in order to adopt Zahara Mali, her daughter. She has already had a 2002 adoption of a boy named Maddox. After arriving, Zahara became the mother of two, and Brad was standing next to her side while traveling. A companion Sadanji is ecstatic. People, it's a dream realized. She has always desired to expand her family. Their relationship remained expanding, and it was increasingly evident that this relationship went beyond friendship, intensified in the beginning of 2006 when Maddox and Zahara's last names were altered. To the Jolie Pitt, a close friend of Theat, as the notion that you two are in love, and you wish together to form a family. What's lovely if you're born with it or through adoption. This was the first actual phase in Brad's development as a father in a mixed-race household. And shortly another significant event was on the horizon. The moment Shiloh was born. In May 2006, Brad and Angelina greeted their initial Shiloh, their biological child, together. New Swakopmund is where she was born, Namibia, and her name had significance. Biblical, which means the tranquil one. The birth garnered media attention throughout the world as media and fans were unable to enough of this expanding family. That year, Angelina had disclosed pregnancy as she talked at a Dominican Republic charity center Republic. The word quickly got out, and the anticipation only increased until Shiloh's Brad talked to Esquire directly. In 2006 about marriage and family, has stated that Angelina and he wouldn't get married once everyone in the nation was equally entitled, stating, "Angie and I will think about getting married when every other person in the nation who desires legally permitted to get married." With time, their partnership was not just about themselves as well as more general. He also discussed his developing, stating there, "As much of my family is flawed as any person born naturally, and all I can say about it is that, unable to survive without them. So, anybody, my vote is in favor of adoption." In the same year, they made an appearance as a couple for the first time in public at the Good's debut in New York City. Their debut on the red carpet was sealed Bralina's status as more than just a reality, but a rumor. Supporters and when the press saw them together, the picture of a brand new power couple in Hollywood was verified. However, Angelina acknowledged in a 2007 conversation that required some time before they recognized that their relationship could be anything more profound. "It wasn't until real-life conclusion of Mr. and Mrs. Smith's shooting for us to understand, I believe, that it could have a deeper meaning than we had previously given ourselves permission to believe, that it wasn't just about them." She claimed no longer. Their kids were already aiding in the development of their future, establishing a family. The instant Brad's place in their family was cemented, Angelina remembered that it came from Maddox. Maddox called him out of the blue. "Father, it was incredible. We were having fun. With automobiles on a hotel room's floor, and neither of us said anything when we heard it, anything, and simply exchanged glances. Therefore, that was most likely the most defining point at which he determined that we would act like a family." From there, Brad and Angelina proceeded with the dish. March 2007. Angelina to Vietnam in order to adopt Apex Tien, a boy of 3 years old. His peaceful sky was a name's meaning. Maddox joined her on the journey, but Brad couldn't go because of a movie agreement. The only name was Angelina's one, listed as Vietnamese. On the adoption documents, the law made being single more difficult, a couple to adopt. However, in 2008, a lengthy procedure was concluded by the county judge, and Lee Pox's last name was changed to Jolie Pitt. Angelina complimented her recent strength of a son, stating, "You can imagine how brave you must be to be in something completely fresh environments with unfamiliar people, and he is incredibly powerful." Another significant moment soon followed. In February 2008, Angelina displayed at the Independent Spirit a pregnancy bump. Brad and she didn't verify their news first, but it was evident that they had twins on the way. Alongside their family expanding, Brad and Angelina started looking for additional room. In May of 2008, they agreed to a lease for 3 years. Fortuetown Miral is a huge property and it featured olive trees, vineyards, a moat, as well as fountains. The property became their new residence as a family, and Angelina even contemplated being pregnant. Their 4 kids have already enrolled their lives, and 2 more were shortly on the way. The path. This chapter noted not just her family's growth, but also beginning a new life with each other, in your new beginnings and common objectives with the expansion of their family. Brad and Angelina additionally discovered a connection through common objectives outside of Hollywood. Angelina was constantly involved in humanitarian work, and in an interview with Vanity Fair in 2008, she outlined how Brad's silent work and she had been drawn to philanthropy. Even though he wasn't as visible to the public, he thought he had a keen awareness of the world, incredibly sympathetic and inquisitive. In his own way, he had been busy, I said, she said. She continued by saying that their shared objectives were what made them solid relationship, our similarities centers but distinct methods. He is more active in restoring New Orleans green and environmental concerns. I am more of a refugee. However, in relation to same objectives or children, orphans rights, and we assist one another, it brings us together and strengthens our bond. Labor. Their family had grown by that time to 6 kids. Their residence had changed to France, and their efforts were widely beyond motion pictures. What started on a movie set had evolved into a child-centered life, common aspirations and public interest, and as they moved forward, their relationship as Brad's role as a father and his parents expanded the family as it became more apparent. On Angelina and Brad Pitt on July 12, 2008, Jolie welcomed Knox on their twins. And nice. Frances Vivian Mar Ellen. Knox was born only a minute ahead of his. Angelina talked of having 6 children are happy but energetic. Claiming that, although there is turmoil, we are air handling it and enjoying a fantastic time. That summer, the family was at their French estate, Chateau Miral, getting ready for the arrival. Angelina stated that the elder kids were actively engaged in providing care for them. Z and Shiloh choose the twins' clothing and assist in holding and changing them. It's delightful. They are young mothers, having 6 kids at home. Brad and life was busier than ever for Angelina, however. They were able to balance the difficulties in Hollywood careers with becoming a parent. In 2010, Angelina clarified she and Brad never worked at Parade on significant projects concurrently. He transports the children to school. He comes to see me on the set with the children. I'm at home for him there for breakfast or dinner. We're always together. We make plans. Additionally, she clarified that they made a vow to never be separated again for 3 days, preserving the family. We are confined to our homes, where mommy and daddy are very important in our pajamas, she added. This method maintained the stability of their household despite its demands of celebrity. We will eventually. Yes, we will. However, the children say, get mommy a ring. All right, I'll do that, I will. And he did. Brad's in April of 2012, the manager attested to the engagement. Single quotes, yes, it's confirmed, they say. It represents a pledge for the future, and their children are ecstatic. No date is specified. Set now, Angelina said in private, showed off her engagement ring at a function, a diamond that is valued at over 10. This was not the case for the pair, not only about themselves, but also about satisfying their kids' desires. 2 On August 23, 2014. Several years later, Brad and Angelina eventually got married. The location of their wedding was Chateau Miral, with only 20 close friends and family. Their 6 kids played significant roles throughout these. Angelina was walked by Maddox and Pox. Down the path. Vivian and Zahara were floral girls, but Knox and Sheila acted as bearers of rings. The pair Desiret's day to think about joy and family. We valued the fact that the day was they were at ease and laughing a lot. Individuals. Angelina's dress was created by Luigi Massi of Atelier Versace and was made even more memorable by the kids' illustrations sewn into the veil, and Angelina expressed her emotions regarding the designer, stating that Luigi is like family to me, but I was unable to. Can you think of anyone else creating this dress? He is aware of and concerned about the kids. And it was a lot of fun to put together their wedding cake. 2 had a unique design. Pax, their son, touched the baking. Only days following the nuptials, the pair mixed combining art and family life whilst on a honeymoon in Malta during a seaside filming. Angelina clarified, I wrote a few years ago, just for fun, for Brad and me. Simply a standalone small work of art. The project demonstrated how their marriage combined aspects of creativity and personal life. Despite the fact that their life story together was going to change drastically, disputes about custody and divorce. On September 20, 2016, hardly 2 years after their nuptials, Angelina sent a separation. She mentioned intractable variance and requested physical custody of their 6 kids while granting Brad the right to visit Her lawyer gave an explanation of the ruling, saying, "This choice was made in the interest of the health of the household." She wanted commenting now and requesting that the family will be granted privacy through this challenging period. Brad's response expressed sadness but also cared for the kids. He remarked in a statement, "This saddens me greatly. But what the most important thing right now is the health of 4 children. I politely requested that the media give them the room they need while this difficult period." The separation, the years-long procedure, was filled with intricate court cases. On the 13th of April 2019, almost 3 years later, they were illegally single. Despite the fact that the settlement of the divorce was still being worked out, responsibility for the children became the most embarrassing and well-known aspect of the split. A judge in May 2021 gave Brad further spending time with kids, but 2 months the ruling was later reversed. John Oudkirk, the judge who had rendered theaters, was eliminated from the lawsuit, following a panel of 3 judges concluded that he had not revealed commercial ties with Brad's attorney. The side of Angelina contended that this sparked concerns about justice. Brad's personal source revealed Heisig's, stating, "Brad thinks there is substantial proof that the current circumstances are not favorable for their children. This merely puts things on hold forever." What was once a tale of a glitzy Hollywood romance had evolved into following years of custody battles, the court choices, and personal suffering revealed to the public. Jolie speaks up. In September, finally on April 4, 2021, Angelina Jolie spoke candidly discussing her breakup with Brad Pitt. 5 years had passed since she submitted herself. Additionally, during her discussion with the U, she made it to Guardian's Weekend magazine, evident that no choice was made, in a light manner. "I'm not the type of individual who makes choices similar to the ones I did to make softly. It was difficult for me to find myself in a situation where I felt compelled to apart from my father's children," she said. The interviewer also inquired about the last 5 she and Angelina had changed throughout the years, replied in a manner that made clear just how dire the circumstances had been for. "In several respects, it has been the previous 10 years. I can't say a lot of things." On October 6, a month later, she sold her chateau shareholding in 2021 Mirror, the vineyard and estate in France that she and Brad had given Teniot Dello a portion of the group solely. Court records verified that she was permitted to sell, but Brad was not happy. By February 2022, he filed a lawsuit, claiming she had broken an agreement by selling without his According to his legal team, she had intentionally hurt him by selling her shared behind closed doors. They contended that his passion project, Mirror, developed becoming a global multi-million-dollar business as a result of his work. Alpha-claiming Jolie had nothing to do with Mirror's accomplishment. By August, the plane incident reappears. 2022, the custody dispute changed course. When FBI records pertaining to the 2016 incident involving a private plane were acquired by individuals, Angelina had asked for them. In accordance with the Freedom of Information Act under the pseudonym Jane Doe, their redacted documents revealed startling information about transpired a few days prior to her filing for a divorce. The paper states that Brad is accused of grabbing her and shaking her, punched her after pushing her up against a wall, the ceiling of the aircraft. She added that she was doused with beer. Angelina remembered as soon as one of their kids called he was a jerk, and she was afraid he might attack the youngster, so she put her arms around his throat like a chokehold, told him. She informed detectives that he was turning into a monster, yelling, screaming, imitating one's actions while yelling at the children and her. She acknowledged that she was terrified, paralyzed, and unsure about what to do, explaining how she was shell-shocked, as were the kids. She claimed that the entire event left her feeling similar to a captive. However, in 2016, both the Los Angeles Department of Justice and the FBI Child and Family Services was no longer in operation. Their inquiries without being charged or evidence of maltreatment. Brad denied everything. Charges. As soon as the documents were in 2022, according to a person close to Brad, said that Angelina was attempting to harm him by bringing up the matter once more. They looked into it. They got ready. Materials, went over it collectively and chose not to prosecute him. Additionally, they stated, "There is no advantage of this. It is detrimental to the kids and the whole household for the winery conflicts to be made public." The ex-couple's disagreement over the winery kept becoming resentful. In September, Angelina filed a countersuit on the 7th of 22 to through Newville, her business. She claimed Brad was fighting a war of retaliation against her, asserting that he had conceived up a scheme to take over Chat Mirror following their 2016 breakup.